how did you get here?
Man, I went back home, put my 2 weeks notice in.
Why did you go telesales, and what was the transition like?
I was like, there's no way that all of them are lying.
You immediately put your 2 weeks in before?
The next day, I had to start paper apps.
Why would a person in car sales, why should they do this?
My first week, I helped 12 people, $500 at least.
So what went through your mind when you had such a high and then you had such a low no-show the whole time? You can make excuses, you can make money, you can't make money. All right, everyone, welcome to our Enter the Haven Team Huddle. Mac Agabor, president of FFL Haven. I'm excited because I have an opportunity to introduce us to Austin Harless, one of the fastest horses on the track right now. Here's someone who checks all the boxes. He's young, and that guy is really, really funny, like really funny. If you look at some of his stuff on socials, you'll chuckle and you'll bust out laughing. We're going to have some locker room talk with him. And guys, this person helped over 600 families. And he did so, some of that or all of that being telesales. He'll tell us a story. So Austin, thank you for joining us. Let's just knock it out straight from the get-go, Austin. I know people are wondering, well, you're young, you're 26 years old. Tell us, how did you get here? You could be doing anything, but you're here with FFL. Where did the story start?
Well, man, first off, I appreciate you allowing me to hop on here, dude. I know I've been, I think I actually first saw you at I think it was the LA thing. It's the first time I went to the Dream Center and you got up there and spoke. I think it was like a panel thing. That was the first time I ever actually got to see you. And then I think we actually met this past convention, like in person, I believe. But again, appreciate you allowing me to hop on here, man. It started, I guess I joined in March of 2021. I found out about it from my dad. He had went to the convention in Vegas, and then he left convention from there and was like just super excited. He was telling me all this stuff that was going on, how much this person was making, how many families this guy protected, all of that. And I was selling cars at the time, and I was like, Dad, this is ridiculous. Like, come on, there's no way that someone can, make that kind of profit. So I just kind of let it be. I watched it, some FFL stuff on the podcast, for about 6 months. And then the convention rolled around in February of 21, where they did it in like 7 different cities or 7 different states, whatever it was.
Right.
And I went to the one in Miami. And that's when I first met Vivian. I know Vivian had just started, she was on bed rest and all that. Mm-hmm. But I got to meet her, and dude, it blew up from there. Like my energy level, seeing all those people, and I related to a lot of people that came from car sales. I was like, man, this is crazy. And my wife at the time, or soon to be wife, I should say, everyone says she's my wife. She basically is. We've been together for so long. She was 9 months pregnant when I was at convention. I mean, she was swollen. She was about as big as a balloon. And right after conference, man, I went back home, put my 2 weeks notice in, just so I can allow to get my contracts and stuff, allow that stuff to come in, but they let me go on the spot. Wow. That's just how it is in the car business. They just, if you're not there to make them money, you're out.
So you heard the story, you immediately put your 2 weeks in before you were sold. What sold you so much that you had enough gumption to go put your 2 weeks in? Especially you had a wife-ish, and I mean, why would you do that?
Well, Vivian, in a way, she told me to. She said I was absolutely stupid if I didn't go home and quit. But so many people got up on stage and had these life-changing stories, and they went from making this much money to now they're making what doctors make. And I just kind of thought to myself, I was like, if that many people got up on stage in 7 different cities and was lying about all this, that'd be pretty jacked up. That'd be pretty messed up. Like, there's no way that they're,
Conspiracy. Come on.
I was like, there's no way that all of them are lying. And I was like, buying leads, yeah, that freaks me out, but let me give it a shot. We'll just see what happens. But I thought I was going to have like a warm up period, of 2 weeks, at least to get my contracts, kind of go through some training. Do what I started, like when I had my 2 weeks put in, they let me go. I bought leads that night and I dialed the next day. I had to start with paper apps.
Paper
Dude,
apps.
I had to print all the paper applications. I wasn't contracted with anybody. Like my license just came in, and talking about like a horrible experience. That sucked.
Yeah.
These applications are, I mean, some are better than others, but man, those paper apps sucked.
So we
I
got
couldn't
people
believe it.
who complain about, oh, this e-app is terrible, but you went out there to do paper apps. And what happened?
Man, my first week, I helped 12 people
First week.
off of paper applications, man. But like I said, I didn't know anything. I mean, I went in and I did what Vivian told me to do, which was write down the medications, why they're taking them, how long they've been taking them, and just call her. I'd call her. I'd say, Mary has this many meds. They're this medication for this, whatever. She's 55 and a smoker. I think this carrier's best, but I just wanted to follow up with you. And I would say like Mutual of Omaha I thought was the best one. And she would tell me, most of the stuff I wrote was Living Promise, because that paper app was the easiest out of like Foresters and everything else. But did that for, I probably called her 5 times per appointment for the first month until
awesome.
I figured it out.
Awesome.
I at least knew a little bit more than when I did day one.
And why you, Austin? I mean, what was your background? Why is it that you think you helped 12 families your first week? Was there something in your past that you think led to you being more prepared? Why do you think you were able to have that success different than anyone else?
Man, honestly, I think Sean is big on like run fast or move fast, break things.
Yeah.
I'm not a smart kid. I graduated with a 2.6 GPA. I didn't pay attention in school, but I played football. And I wasn't the kid that, mom and dad had to, kiss the coach's rear end, to get me to play. Like I worked hard in the gym. I worked hard and in practice, and I hit people, but I was humble about it. If I hit someone hard, I'd pick them up. I wasn't a cocky person, but I would just I would try to outwork anybody that was there on the practice field or just in the locker room or in the gym. So I think when I got started, that's what helped me out a lot is I knew I could just work hard and then I could just do what I can, work as hard as I can, just do what I'm told and be a sponge basically. Because that's how it was, playing football. That's what I had to do is that at the beginning, they told me to tackle like this. They told me to catch this way. I had to be a sponge at the beginning, until, I got really good. Then maybe I can tweak some things of what feels more comfortable for me. And that's what I did when I got in the field, man. I didn't really have much of a big background. And I again, like I said, I sold cars for a year and a half. And talking about a hard business, that's tough.
That trained you.
That's difficult stuff, man. But really, I think that's what everyone needs to do brand new is you just got to like literally move fast and break things. Because when you're failing over and over, you're learning from that,
what it seems to me is there are a lot of people who want it to look pretty, right? There's an old saying that FFL will either expose your work ethic or promote your work ethic. And if I'm hearing you right, Austin, you're saying you didn't have any special background. It doesn't matter whether you did cars, Cutco, who cares what you did? You knew that you could work. That's all you needed to know. And if this was based on work ethic, then it was game over for you, right? And now humility, that we have a lot of people who come from different industries. They've been the big dogs or they thought they could work and they had this expectation. Now you were willing to not know it all and call someone to ask for help when usually in the car business or whatever else, if you don't know it, it makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about. How did you overcome that hurdle?
Man, it was it was really just repetitions. I just had to keep doing it to get comfortable with it. I didn't like going into these people's homes, especially talking about life insurance. I didn't like going into their homes and not knowing what the heck I was talking about. I just knew that it paid out X amount, if they died, and they paid their premium. But man, to be honest, the way that I got over it was I just had to keep doing it. I just had to keep going in that home and being all weird and uncomfortable talking with the person, acted like I knew what I was talking about, because I did. I went in there and I was an underwriter for 7 years. I've been doing this for a while. But to get comfortable with just not knowing what the heck I was doing, was just having to keep going in there. It's kind of like taking a cold shower, dude. It sucks at first.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but then you just get used to it.
How long would you say it took you before you got comfortable? 100 appointments, 200 appointments?
I would say, I'd say you're right there, about 100 appointments.
Got it.
At least a month, basically 30 days of in the field, not just an entire month, not like counting Sundays and stuff, but like 30 in-home, or 30 days of running like in-home appointments.
So there's some folks that want to go full-time. They went from conference on fire. What does a full-time schedule look like? What did it look like for you? What were Vivian's instructions of, this is what full-time looks like? And if you're not doing this, you're failing yourself.
Yeah. So at the beginning, it was 8 appointments a day, 8 to 10 appointments a day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. $500 at least.
500. Wow.
And yeah. Now, when I started, I used phone burner. I did hop on that like right away. Dude, I had to get a credit card and everything. I didn't have any money, but I got approved for a credit card, so I was able to like get all this stuff to start. Phone burner helped out a lot with those leads. But our strategy session, she asked me like what I wanted to do. And it was, 40 families a month. I want to hit Hall of Fame, because I saw the red jackets at that previous conference convention. That hyped me up.
Yeah.
Those award ceremonies will get you going. Like I want to be up there, I want that red jacket. I want that, that whatever the trophies are holding, gold, sapphire, whatever it is. I want something. But I had to have those appointments. I mean, she would literally tell me, if I'm not having those appointments on the Tuesday or those run days, the typical FFL schedule, that I'm not going to make it.
Just like that.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Like she told you, you're not going to make it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's real talk.
Yeah. And then her big thing is, she still says it. Like if I'm not willing, or whoever she's talking to, if they're not willing to like do this certain thing, they need to quit and they go work at McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I want you to hear this real talk. Sometimes we want to do the buffet style of success. I'll take that. Nah, not that. I'll take this. You either do it or you don't do it. That's what it came down to, right? So
yeah,
you went through the process. I know it was uncomfortable, being able to get 8 appointments. Now, how much did you spend on leads? Just starting off. I mean, you had to go put it on credit cards, which tells me you believed in yourself. How much did you have to put on leads? How big was your credit card? I mean, just lay it out with us raw. Like how messy did it look? Because people look at it, Austin, they're like, wow, this guy is made. Hey, he looked good. Look at that hair. I mean, I can't have hair like that, right? Look, he got that Southern talk. Of course, everyone says yes. I mean, he had it all made. He had they looking for all these excuses for why you were meant for success. Lay it out to us where everything was stacked against you almost, and you had to believe in yourself to get to where you are.
Man, my first lead purchase, I had a credit card that I got it was the Apple card, but I was excited to get that metal card. So it was a beautiful card, but it was I think I had like a $5,000 limit on it.
Mm-hmm.
And first lead purchase, internet leads. I think I did a few instants, but a lot were the 1 to 3 month.
Wait a minute, stop there. You mean you didn't get the instant leads that are the better leads? You got the 1 to 3 months? Is that right?
Right. Yeah. Not the not the best leads in the biz. Everyone thinks there's that golden lead, right?
Right.
They think there's that special lead. But I got those. I got more backs. I heard that a lot on podcasts. You did have more backs, and Vivian agreed. So we got a lot of 1 to 3 months, and it was about $1,200 worth. That made me sick. because I had that. There's a deposit for the E&O insurance, the phone burner, and I'm like, man, this is scary. I basically had a panic attack right after my dial day because my printer stopped working. It was just stuff was hitting the fan. It kind of went all downhill. But $1,200 in leads, dial day next day. Immediately, Vivian's like, unmute, and it's we were part of Elevate, so there's more people in there, and I didn't want to do that, man.
She was
nervous.
telling you to unmute when you're on the Zoom where it's all silent because no one wants to be the first to jump in the pool. She was saying, "Go, go, go."
Yeah. She's just like, you got to go. So I was like, well, let me turn my camera off first. Let me get more comfortable. So I turned my camera off and I just dialed. And I wish I had recordings of how it sounded back then to how it is now. I wish I had something, but I just knew I got critiqued a lot because it wasn't right. But I did set, I was horrible. I was horrible. I know I think it was 8 appointments my first dial day. So it's like 8 or 12 or something. My first dial day, but
set those appointments.
Yeah, which was crazy. But the thing is, I had a lot of leads to call.
A lot of leads.
You stacked the thing,
is what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like if I would have bought 500 leads or $500 worth of leads, that probably wouldn't have happened. A lot of people, I think, forget that the lead is just someone showing like interest. They have a question about something. They want to be helped with something. It's not a sale. It's not an appointment. It's not guaranteed to have a sit. But fast forward. I helped 12 families that week, and then the week after that, I know I did right under 10, but I was like in the 7 or the 8 range. And I was like, man, this is actually crazy. The second week, I'm starting on the 3rd week. I'm dialing, and I hear Jocelyn screaming, "Austin, we got to the hospital. My water broke." And I thought she's talking about, I thought she's trying to do like a joke about TikTok or something. So I'm just ignoring her. And then she yells again, and I'm ignoring her because I've got over 10 appointments, and I've got like 4 hours left. And I'm like, this is gonna be my first time hitting 15, 16 appointments on a dial day. And then I hear her in the bathroom talking to her mom, and I'm like, what is going on? I go in there, sure enough, water's broke. We got to go to the hospital. And we ended up staying in the hospital for a week because she gave birth to Sailor, and she had some like jaundice or something. They had to take care of that. So we were there for a week. And then that's when the deposit started hitting. And I was like, wow, those paper applications actually went through. I was like, this is nuts. This is crazy. And started getting excited. I couldn't wait. I was sitting there watching podcasts while she's in all kinds of pain. I'm sending it to Vivian. I was like, I don't even want to look at Jocelyn. She's in pain. She's going through all this with the baby, but I'm just like focused. I'm watching like the Monday morning wake up call, all that. We're back home. Man, I go out, run appointments. I get no-showed all day.
All day, like every appointment.
All day.
I want you to take note. Last week, we had Erica. She talked about that. Had this. So success, does it look like this, Austin? He had this massive upswing and then all day no-showed. For some people, he had 12 families he helped your first week. Some people, it's like this your first week, like Stephen Yee. He went 14-0 his first couple of weeks. Jeez. So for some of us, we hear this, we're like, what's wrong with me? It's just the way it is. So what went through your mind when you had such a high and then you had such a low no-show the whole time?
At first, I wasn't that bothered with it. I was like, okay, they said this can happen. I've got tomorrow. They say the field owes me, whatever. Cool. Go out the next day, and I get no-showed all day again, except for one person. The person that I sat with, it just didn't work out. Just couldn't help them out. At that point, I'm like, okay, it's because the area that I'm working in. It's just it's a low income area. There's it's just people that are absolutely crazy. So let me look at Lynchburg, Virginia. It's a beautiful college that's there. It's like there's definitely more people that are, not as crazy, have more income. So I'll go there. I did a travel trip just for one day, and I booked 12 appointments per day. So I'm driving up to Lynchburg, or it's about an hour and a half drive. I'm super pumped. I'm like, this is going to be a good freaking day. I got 12 appointments on the books.
Let me pause you
Dude,
there real quick, Austin. There are these small little success nuggets you're dropping. Here's a guy, he's willing to do what it takes. You drove how long? How far? An hour and a half.
It was, yeah, hour and a half.
Your location. Me, it wasn't just 20 minutes out. You went out. You were in it to win it. And he was pumped.
Yeah.
I keep going. I just want to just make note of that. When I remember the Indians, when they first, started cultivating North America, they were hunter-gatherers. When the animals went, guess where they went? You go where the leads are, right? That's just what you were willing to do. People don't understand today where the leads are plentiful. Back in the day when you and I were rolling, it wasn't like that. We were like hunter-gatherers with our little spear going to find the animal. But keep going. So you drove an hour and a half.
Yeah, I get there, and I the first couple appointments I'm getting no-showed. So I go grab lunch. Not a big deal. Dude, I didn't sit with a single person that day. I couldn't even get to the porch.
That's 3 days?
That was 3 days in a row.
Wow.
And at that point, I call Vivian. I'm like, maybe it was beginner's luck. Maybe I just had a good run and that's it. Like, I don't know what I need to do. A couple weeks, I think it was actually after the second day or second week or whatever, or second day, I'm sorry, that I had those no-shows. She told me to start doing this meditation. I told her I was doing it, but I didn't do it. I was like, meditation, that's stupid. I'm not doing it. This whole mindset thing, don't believe in it, whatever. Then when I went to Lynchburg and I got no-showed all day, that was the first thing she said. She goes, "Are you meditating?" And like when Vivian is like super pissed, she does this very soft kind of tone when she's speaking, and it's like the wrath in her is about to just explode. She's doing that, and she's like, "Are you meditating?" I'm like, "No, I haven't been." Because you're gonna get your ass back home. You're gonna do this meditation. You're gonna read this book, Unstoppable by Dave Anderson, and you're gonna do that nonstop, like Audible, as you're driving. I did that. Did that nonstop, dude. Had a record month. So that was my first. It was my 4th month in. I did 40 families.
40.
I'm sorry, third month. I'm sorry, it was 40 families. Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You tweaked your mindset, the mumbo jumbo that people heard about, and suddenly you have this record month.
Yeah, because I think the end of that, after that month, after I started doing the mindset, it ended up being like 26 families, and the month after that, it went to 40.
Maybe you can speak a little truth into this. They say in FFL, you can have a bad day, you can have a bad week, but if you keep going with the right mindset, you'll never, ever, 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 ever going to have a bad month. Now, in order to make that happen, your mindset, can you speak a little bit of truth in that? How effective and how critical do you think that mindset portion had to do with you having that record month?
Me personally, I think this business is 90% mindset, because I didn't realize how bad your situations can turn out if you've got such a bad and negative mindset. And so I started doing that meditation. I mean, I firmly believe I still have bad weeks. I've had bad 2 weeks in a row, but if I brush it off and just show up the next day, continue to do that same routine of the meditation, everything that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not gonna have a bad month. There's no way. But if you slack off, you'll definitely have a bad month.
I love it.
You just have to show up and keep going. Dude, I'm telling you that meditation it's like 20 minutes long if you round it up, but it's game changer for me. I still do it every morning. It's the first thing that I do.
I love it.
I drink my early bird. If anyone here is not morning people, you definitely need to start getting up at least like 5 o'clock, 5, 6. Get up early, start your day with a win, But if you just have trouble, your body just waking up, or your mind waking up, that early bird, love it. It's a supplement that's like a pre-workout, but it's just got a touch of caffeine in it, very small. Just got a lot of electrolytes to wake you up.
He's giving you nuggets, y'all, for free. I love Dave Anderson talking about how your morning routine determines your trajectory. For so many of us, we think it's when the day is going, that's when it started. No, it started when you got up. And if you can just change and tweak your morning routine, that determines so much. So I'm hearing from you, Austin, first to get that book. I actually read it. I have it on Audible myself. Unstoppable by Dave Anderson. You got to get it. Now, for those of you that aren't doing it right now, here's what I've heard in the past. Work harder on yourself than you do the business. If you do that, everything you're doing, it'll just go 3, 4x. Now, Austin, go back a little bit. Isn't it easy when we're having tough times to do what we call, or what I've heard called, the twisted mind effect? We start making ourselves uniquely defective, finding reasons why maybe I didn't comb my hair to the left today. If I had done it to the right, that would have been the key. Or, hey, I didn't park on the right side of the road this time. We find all these reasons why it doesn't work. Now that you're over that, kind of speak a little truth in that. How has the mindset made the difference so that you are literally unstoppable at this point?
The easiest way for me to explain it to people is when I do that in the morning, or just, my mindset meditation, and then just my morning routine, the gym, the shower, not looking at social media, and I don't even check my emails for the first hour of the morning. I'm putting my shields up. So when adversity hits, because it's gonna come at you every day. In this business, just like Sean's book, it will punch you in the face. I mean, it will, especially at the beginning. But when you start your day with those big W's and not a big L for a loss, you're putting your shields up. You already feel better about yourself. So when the bad stuff starts happening, it doesn't affect you as much. You didn't wake up late and you go to the fridge, you drop the milk or something, and bad stuff starts happening. Your dog broke out of its leash. You have all this stuff that will just kind of start sandwiching on top of each other, like negative and positive. You start your day off negatively, there's all these other little negative things that will start happening. It's just weird how it works. But positive, if you just get up and you make your bed, or you just go take care of yourself, you brush your teeth right the first thing in the morning, that positive momentum is amazing. It's strong. Positive momentum is great, but also negative momentum is pretty powerful as well.
Detrimental. Question I'm going to ask real quick is, if you're taking notes, how do you start your day with a win? You learn how to win by winning. Are you starting your day with a win or with a loss? And if you can start that momentum, that's how you get going. Austin, I'm going to do some rapid fire questions, and we're going to fast forward. Now, you've been going at this for a while. You then transitioned to telesales, and we're going to get into that shortly. Your biggest month ever. How many families have you helped in a month?
It was 90.
90 families, y'all. Whew. That's a lot. That's a lot of families. Obviously, what's hard has changed now that you're a year in the business.
It will be actually 2 years in this March.
2 years in the business. What is the hardest part now in the business, if you had to say? Hardest part for you?
The hardest part for me, honestly, is probably just, I wouldn't say staying consistent, because I know that's the biggest thing for me, but there are days where I feel like I could work harder, which I think we all can work harder. I don't think consistent is the word, but what I noticed right before the new year started is, like, if I look at my bank account and it's got a good number in there that I like, I'll slow down. But if it's got a low number in there, I'm going to work harder. So I'm kind of like doing this whole like roller coaster effect. I don't know the exact word. Maybe that is consistent. I think that might be the word I'm looking for, is consistent when it comes to getting to the office and running all the appointments the way that I should. So the way I've got it set up now is I don't look at my bank account anymore. Jocelyn handles all that. If we're like, when we're paying money over to the credit card, because I put everything on a credit card, get the points flying, all that. She does all that. I don't want to see what's coming in. I don't want to see what's going out. Because it's like a mental thing for me, is I'm like, wow, I've got X amount in there. I can kind of sit back. Let me purchase this, these shoes or this outfit. Let me buy this, a new phone case, whatever. But I don't want to see that stuff because then I'll slow down, speed up. I just need to stay level. So yeah, maybe that is consistent, more persistent. One of those, I think that'd be the hardest thing for me until the beginning of this year, because I just had to write it down and put it out there in the world that I'm not allowing that crap to happen anymore.
Coach Burke called it maintaining that prey drive, being hungry,
Yeah.
staying hungry. Now, multiple people have different ways. One of the ways that I use, and again, I love this business because we're not original. We just rob and duplicate. Stephen Yee talked about what happened to him. When he would see the big money in the account, it would just automatically breed just complacency. He was like, like Austin said, I just want to relax. So we know what he did. And if you're taking notes, hey, I tried it and it worked. When he saw a zero in his bank account, that made him just create that hunger. So he opened a total of 4 accounts. One account was straight for deposits. Another account was his leads account. Third account was his operating account, just for bills and stuff like that. And the fourth account was his reserve account. He hid, keyword hid, the reserve account. So as soon as a deposit came into his account, he transferred it to, and he split it between his leads account halfway and his general expenses account, right? So that his commission account would always show what? 0. So it forced him to have to work, and his wife, like Austin's, handled all the rest. But the only thing he could see when he logged in was 0, and it drove that hunger. And I tried that. I was like, oh man, it does work, right? So Austin,
it's weird.
It's weird how that works. So tell us about the transition from telesales. So you were doing in-home and you were helping a lot of families. Why did you go telesales, and what was the transition like? Was it just easy, or was there a little bit of a struggle?
If I backtrack back to when I was in Virginia, I tried it for about a week and a half. I did good the first week, second week, I maybe only booked, it was less than 10 appointments that day. I mean, I think it was less than 5. Mm-hmm. And you know how it works. You have no shows, cancellations, doesn't just work out. They may already have coverage. They don't need it. I had one of those days. It's like, it sucks. Like if someone already had a mortgage protection plan, if I was in person, I could have at least saw it and helped it out. So I didn't do anything, Zoom telesales after that. And this was probably like September or October in 2021. I never went back to it. Moved to Florida, did everything in person. And I didn't really get into to Zoom until about August of this past year. That's when I went full virtual. And wow. I just said to myself, wow. Well, I had an agent come here. He came in from Virginia to watch me run appointments in person, which, by the way, I personally don't like that. After that experience, I don't like it at all. I don't know if it's because it was 2 males going to someone's house, but I didn't sell anything in person. But I had Zoom appointments because I was just giving it a test. I had Zoom appointments while I was still running in-home appointments. I didn't sell anything in-home, but while he was there with me and we were sitting in the truck, I would sell the Zoom appointments while I was sitting in the truck. And I was like, if I could do this in my truck, I mean, why couldn't I do this in an actual office? Like it just didn't make any sense to me. And then once he went back home, I said, you know what, screw it. I am tired of driving around like crazy. This Florida traffic drives me insane. So I was like, I'm just not doing that anymore. So did everything virtual back at the office. And at first it was a little bit difficult because I feel like I tried to change everything. Like I feel like just because it was Zoom that I had to do some kind of crazy thing until I realized that I'll just do the same exact thing that I do in home. Yeah. So I just put it onto a PowerPoint. You hand the credibility sheet over, you show your license. I just do that on a PowerPoint. I just share my screen and it's the same exact thing. Same exact thing.
Love it.
And I love it because now I've got, I'm licensed in 16 states. So I've got all those 16 states I get leads in. That's what I love about it.
Now tell me this, you said it was a little bit hard. Now, was it literally the same production levels from the get-go, or did you kind of go through a turbulence until you figured it out?
It was like you said, it was about a turbulence. Because I wasn't locking the appointments down. It's easier for people to no-show you a virtual appointment. But once I was really locking these appointments down, my production went up. It's been the highest it's ever been once I had about a month of tweaking. And that was just me personally being a pain. It was just me being me. I wasn't having enough appointments on the books. It was all that. With virtual, I say you need to have like 10 appointments, because someone can easily just yawn and say, oh, I don't want to hop on a Zoom. But in person, if they're tired, they want to see you can still show up, and then they're like, oh, he's already here. So I guess we'll just go ahead with the meeting. But with Zoom, they don't have to show up.
Truth. Did you have to double your appointments, make more dials? Because I know people think, oh, it's easier going virtual, right? Is it really easier or just different?
I think it's just different. Easier. I think nowadays people are more okay with doing virtual because of COVID. Because I think it was, oh shoot, he was FFL Marathon.
Brandon Kitchens.
Kitchens, yeah. I couldn't think of his last name. Kept saying, wanted to say Hazard, but I think that was a football player back at our high school. But anyways, Kitchens, he said something like people are doing like DoorDash and Instacart. They're ordering it from their phone, and a random stranger out in the neighborhood is going to the store, picking the food up, putting it in their own car, taking it to their house and handing it to them during COVID. I was like, that's true. That's actually very true. So when I was calling people, I think I dialed less to set appointments, because I was, say, oh, what time do you get home? Okay, I get home at 5 o'clock. Okay, well, I don't have a 5, but I've got a 6 or 7. And it's the same thing as doing in-home, but I guess they didn't have the stress of having some stranger come over to their house. And I just had to book more appointments. That's all that I had to do.
So you had
to add a little bit more
appointments to compensate for the no-shows that increase because you're not.
Yeah.
How many more? So we do 30 appointments a week is typical for in-home. How many appointments a week would you say for virtual to compensate for the higher no-show rate?
I say to start, I was doing I wasn't doing 50 yet. I was about 40 to 45.
Copy that.
What I was doing.
It's awesome.
Somewhere in that range. I was still running the same typical schedule: Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Love it. Rapid fire questions. Then we're going to open up to you guys for Q&A. So just drop all your questions down. We're going to just throw them at Austin. Your favorite lead type? Do you just do mortgage protection? Is it age mortgage? You have fresh locked out mailers?
Yeah.
Internet leads?
Call in mortgage.
Okay. So the silver's call in. Love it.
Yep. I haven't done final expense in a while.
Got it. And because we have so many states and some different licenses, you can pretty much get them anywhere, correct?
Yeah. Love everywhere.
Your most common objections. People want to hear that. They think that people have a silver tongue. Someone says, I already got it. So what does that sound like? So you call in and book the appointment. Oh, I already took care of that. What does that sound like for you?
I think every objection that you get, the answer needs to be, that's exactly why I'm calling. Every single objection. I used to have the objection workbook taped up on the wall. I found out that word or that sentence, that's exactly why I'm calling, is the absolute best rebuttal to any of those.
I love it.
Because then they're like, oh, that's why you're calling? It's exactly why I'm calling. We just got to do a quick policy review.
That's good. It's good. I love it. So you guys take notes, whatever the objection, that's exactly why I'm calling. Gives you a little bit of time to kind of think and you go whatever direction you have. As far as virtual, you helped over 600 families virtually. Not just from straight mortgage. Did you have that goal? Did you just kind of stumble across that goal, or was that something that you had set that you were going to do?
I told Vivian I wanted to do at least 600, and I ended up doing 612.
It's awesome. You should have told me.
I think you need to write that stuff down. I know I should have told her, like, this year it's I've got a goal of 1,200 families for the year.
It's awesome. All right, y'all. So we're gonna throw some questions at Austin, and if you have anything extra, please throw them down in the chat. As far as the affirmation, someone's asking, will you share that affirmation and that mantra that you do with us?
Yeah, that morning meditation that I do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's it'd probably best if I actually text it to you. It's called 6 phase. It's a 6 phase meditation, and the guy's name is Vision, and I think the last name is pronounced Lakani or Lakiani. He's like the owner of this thing called Mind Valley.
Okay.
And all it does is there's 6 phases. The first like minute, it's just like a sound that plays in your ear, and you're just kind of getting your breathing right. And he basically talks to you, tells you to like visualize you putting like this energy and this love out to the world, and that like the world puts it back into you. Vision a person, or maybe that you've either gotten to an argument with, or maybe you're not on the best terms, but just to release and get rid of all that, the grudges you may hold to them, or the argument that you had in the past, you just get rid of it. It's all this stuff that just makes you feel very like light. You don't have no weight on your shoulders. There's no negativity, when you're done.
I love it. And what I love about you, Austin, is you guys notice how composed he is. His demeanor is just it's what I call relaxed intensity. If there was a definition of relaxed intensity, it would have Austin's face on it. Because oftentimes we have these weird ideas of what success looks like. Maybe we saw someone who was successful, but they were really talkative, right? Maybe you're looking at me. I mean, I'm kind of fidgety, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you look at Austin, he's calm, collect. And that's what I love about going to the national conferences. You see people from every walk of life that are succeeding. They don't have to be just like one person. So you can really be who you are. And it sounds like this meditation helps you unravel your real self so that you can be authentic. And people, they almost more than just hearing you, they feel what you're saying. And you have that posture, if you will. I think Doc Moreno talk about posture is the key. Let me throw a couple more questions at you. So as far as the schedule, if someone said, you know what, I've been running in-home, I want to go telesales. It is a different mountain to climb. It really is. What would you tell them to be the best process to transition, and what to expect as far as hurdles going from straight in-home to telesales? Or when would you suggest they do a hybrid approach to do both?
Yeah, I would suggest do a hybrid first, because that's kind of what I did. I was just doing the Zooms in the vehicle. Hybrid would be the way to start if you want to pivot completely to telesales, virtual, whatever. I don't personally like doing like telesales, where they don't see me, because I like the process of doing the finances in front of them where they see it, and then I can like show them my license while I'm on the screen. All that, I like doing that. I only do telesales if they're older, 65 or up, because they some may, or they just don't know how to get into the Zoom, and then they get irritated because they can't get in.
Yeah.
So I'll do a phone appointment with them. But if you wanted to pivot, I would do hybrid. And what I mean by hybrid is I would have a day, at least, if the best way would at least have a day where you're doing all virtual telesales or Zoom, so you can really see how the outcome that you're getting.
So like a Monday through Wednesday do virtual, then a Thursday through Sunday do in-home, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, if your production level starts going down like big time doing virtual, then you need to limit your virtual days until you really get the hang of everything. Yeah. But your biggest hurdles are going to be you're going to get a little bit more objections when it comes to like the social banking info if you don't handle it up front, and you don't make yourself credible at the very beginning, and you seem like a professional.
Got it.
Because you are gathering social and banking info over the phone from someone that you just started a conversation with 15 minutes prior.
Got it. So you got to handle it up
biggest
front.
Hurdle.
Make sure that they know you're here to do business. And now a lot of people are scared of that. They think that will make people run. But do you find that addressing it up front actually gives you more credibility? Yeah,
because it's you don't want to kidnap your client. That's something I heard from Vivian very like day one is you want to let your client know exactly what's going to happen, how you do it, why you have to do it. So when you get to those I guess those hot points, the social and the banking info, you don't really want to make it a big deal when you ask it, because if you make it a big deal, it's going to be a big deal for them. You don't want to sound all weird on the phone when you're asking for their social. Just say social. Don't say, I need your social security number. Then they're like, that's weird. It sounds a little bit strange. Just don't make it weird, because if you make it weird, they're going to think it's weird. That's the big thing, because it's really not that big of a deal. You just can't kidnap your client. Let them know what the heck's happening.
Love it. Someone's asking, what are the things that you found different and similar between doing this and car sales? Why would a person in car sales, why should they do this?
Because when you're selling a car, you're selling something that depreciates right when you drive that thing off the lot. It's car sales is such a just, it kills like your entire, you just feel bad when you do it, really, because most of the time you're like screwing these people up, and you want to, because that's how you get paid. Someone could have a 400 credit score and they can only afford this, and the interest rate's 27%, but you'll get paid a lot from it because it's a used car. If you didn't know, used cars, you make more off a used car than a new car. But that sad person, sad Bob over there, that's got a 400 credit score, can only get this car. Yeah, you're able to get him a car, but when his credit starts to get a little bit higher and he goes to trade that car in at a 20-something% interest rate, he's buried in that car. That's what we call it. And that would be like you would do a handshake with someone at the dealership, like with some of your coworkers, if you buried someone. Like, man, you really screwed that guy up. God dang. And they're just laughing about it. And you think about it, like you do that over and over and over and over, and like, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. So, like, if you have friends that are selling cars, I mean, get them on a call with like Mac or something. Just get them to show you the way the FFL is. Like, you just feel so much better about yourself because you're actually helping someone. Someone passes away, disability, something. There's something that pays out. With a car, I mean, you're not really doing anything. Nothing good, unless it's like a 16-year-old girl's first car.
Right.
They're super excited about that, but it's still depreciating. It's not something good you really buy.
I've heard so many people from car sales talk about how in the ones that were successful, that honestly, they couldn't really feel great about themselves because of, in order to get to where they have to, in order to where they wanted to, the things that they've had to do. Right. Would you say that process led to you also going towards FFL because of, what you had to do to get to where you are?
Yeah. I think the only like similarities with car sales and this is just the way that you kind of can talk to people, except, with car sales, you're kind of making a fake face. You're acting super friendly, but like here, you can be yourself when you're talking to these new people. It's not fake because you're really here to help them. With there, you're there to really screw them, and you just got to act like you're happy about it, and that it's good for them to buy this car and be buried in it for the next 7 years. To be honest, I think the best thing that's helped me out in this business is serving tables at a restaurant. Got me talking to people. If you can talk to people, you can do good in this business.
I love it. A couple more questions, and we'll call it good. We talked about you being a personal producer and these small things. We can't honestly get 2 years worth of his mind in a short 1 hour call, but going in to start building a business, some people have some trepidation about it. When did you start building an agency, and what would you suggest to the new person right now, even though they're new? Should they start? Should they wait till they hit a certain landmark?
I think it was Marissa that talked about it, about like recruiting early. I mean, I started recruiting when I was maybe 3 or 4 months in. Me and Viv had to talk about it, and it's just something I wanted to do. It was kind of I guess in a way, the end game of being able to have like the big financial freedom, and the integrity deal is what everyone here shoots for, right? But if you put it in just a perspective of, there's people out here, like even that are selling cars, that work their butts off, that in most cases you don't really make that much. Like the most I ever made, 22 cars, I made right over 10,000 before taxes. Like, it's pretty bad. There's people that are way under that are like servers, or they're bartending for the rest of their life, because they get the cash. The thing with recruiting early is you may not be as good at this business, but that person that's struggling to just pay rent, bartend, and they may be really good at this, and they may take it more seriously than you do. So I think even if your goal is not to build a massive business and get with integrity, there's people out there that you can help just change their lives financially. You have people that take care of their mom or their dad that's extremely sick, and a business like this would change that tremendously. The mom or the dad will be able to get the financial help and just the medical help that they need, because now that the caregiver, whoever's taking care of them, now has the financials to be able to do that. It's not always about you building the business to make all these overrides in the money, but you talking to Johnny over here that is a bartender, help them make the money to maybe get back in school or take care of their family. Does that kind of answer your question? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Well, let me cap it off by asking you this. Austin, we got some folks that have started from different walks of life. We know that in FFL, the comp is the same, the carriers are the same. We are the only variable. We got people with different baggage, and just be real with this. Austin, can really anyone do this? I mean, if you had a bad background, if you stutter a little bit, if you got an accent, if you're fat, if you're skinny, if you're tall, whatever, like really, even if they don't talk like you, they don't know what you know, can everyone really do this?
I firmly believe it, man. To be 100% honest with you, if you just put the work in, I think anybody can do this. No matter like you said, the baggage that you can, or the baggage that some people hold. I used to hold a lot of baggage, man. My mindset, thinking about how it is now to where it was 2019 or 2020, whatever it was. I mean, dude, I was full of depression. That's all that I was. Full of depression. And there's people out there that, have that going on now. Eventually, that person has to make the decision to, in a way, get over it. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, that stuff sucks. But you still can get up every day and make the decision to do something better for yourself. That's where it starts. It starts right there in the morning, and you making that initial decision to get things done. As long as you can do that, you just get up and you just go after it. Fail. That's your only way that you're going to learn. Get up and just shoot to shoot when you wake up, shoot to have some kind of failure that day. Because as a new person, you're going to learn right from it, and you're going to know that the following day you're not going to do that again. Now you learned.
Yes, sir.
That word failure is such a big, strong word if it's used that way. If it's used in a way where you degrade yourself when you hear it. If you just see it as an opportunity to learn, that's a little mindset thing, right? Now you're thinking differently.
Absolutely. We
all go through it. You got to stay level headed. I still, I've had times where it's, it's just days I feel overwhelmed. It's like you brush it off and you just keep going.
Love it. And Austin, someone would they would throw eggs on my house if I didn't ask you this question. So, brand new agent, would you suggest, if they got money, buy the more expensive stuff if they're brand new, never been in the industry? Or would you say, hey, still stack the deck in your favor, go your route, buy the 1 to 3 month leads? Or should they go buy the $80 mortgage leads? How would you say, how would you guide them?
To stack the deck in your favor, get some older leads, because the only way that you're going to get on the phone is if you have to deal with older leads where you actually get to use the rebuttals over and over and over and over. That's the only way that you'll get good on the phone. And then you'll have a good ROI. From the ROI, then you can go and get your more, what they say, high quality lead. Maybe something that they wrote pen on paper and mailed back in.
Yep.
Again, that's $85. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of leads and have a lot of leads in your favor, a lot of at bats. That's what I would recommend, because one, then you're gonna again skill yourself when it's on the phone, and that's a big thing for a new agent. I've started new agents on brand new leads, and they're gone.
Yep.
Paid a little bit more for new leads, and they can't set appointments. Like, man, these leads suck. It's like, you should try dialing 3 to 9 month old internet leads.
Right.
And there's people that was dialing 10-year-old leads. I mean, Vivian told me when she first started, they were 5 to 10 years old. They were like $2 a piece.
Yep.
Like that's hard. Like this brand new lead is not hard. You just don't know how to dial it. So that's why they should start a little bit of maybe an age lead, an internet lead. Because like an instant lead or even a 1 to 3 month old, they do fill stuff out online. Multiple people do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my example I tell the agents, when I moved to Florida, I was looking online for a moving company because I was not going to get a U-Haul and drive all that stuff to Florida. It was a 14-hour drive. I filled out something online, dude, and I got called like crazy from everybody.
Right.
And then I looked somewhere else. I did the same thing. And I didn't even put a bunch of info in, my name, number. They call me like crazy. So it's the same thing with like insurance. Someone's looking for like maybe a quote. They want to see what this costs. And it says like field underwriter, reach out to you shortly. It's the same thing. Yeah. But all that being said, you got to work your objection. That's how you get good. That's how a fighter gets good at fighting, is they get punched a lot and they got to keep punching the bag over and over and over and over. That's how they get good.
Man, I love
same
it.
Thing. Mindset's the same thing, dude. That is not it's not a microwave, it's a crock pot. I think Dave Anderson says that.
I like that.
It's you have to throw the season in, throw the books, throw the morning routines. That's your mindset. The crock pot, it takes time. Dwayne Johnson doesn't have these giant legs and biceps because he works out once a month. He does it every single day, like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 times a day. He does some crazy stuff. But you have to do the same thing with your mindset. Every day, it takes time to get it extremely strong.
And real quick, someone just threw a last minute question. Are you still using Foam Burner?
I do.
Awesome.
Still use it.
Awesome.
I've seen some other stuff, but Foam Burner was just started with it, loved it. FFL is like a lot of people with FFL use it. So it's like, why don't I use it?
Guys, this is awesome. This is what paying it forward looks like. And again, I give kudos to everyone who stayed to the end. Here's what you'll note if you're successful. 80% of the nuggets you'll receive when there's 20% left. So when I always saw, I don't care whether it's conference or I'm listening to a speaker, when all the people are leaving, that's when I know it's about to get good, because most people leave too early. And so I appreciate everyone sticking around. What you just did, staying to the end, that says what Austin is saying you need to do to win. You're going to do it because you stayed to the very end. So kudos to you guys. Austin, thank you very much. Appreciate you. And hey, I think if you see him around, maybe he kind of ignited something within you. You would like to ask him a few more questions. Austin, would you mind putting your Instagram handle on the chat just so people can reach out to you? And guys, if you have any questions, of course, for me, let me know. But that's a simple Austin Harless. Again, thank you guys. Next week, we're going to have another guest speaker, and it is none other than our champ, Mr. Trey Honeycutt. And he has an incredible story. If you haven't heard his story, you got to hear it.
Trey.
If I don't tell him to tell us about it, make sure you remind me to tell us about when his mom and dad were held at gunpoint and what happened there. So guys, that said, let's make it a great week. Go help serve some families. Take care, take charge. We'll see you next week.